Grahamstown, Baintown, from everywhere they're coming. They're the people's choice, the Saxon Superstars.
Hello? Who's in the morning?
Boots!
It is impossible, Madam Speaker, for us, the Royal Bahamas Defence Force and our law enforcement agencies, to police our waters. 100,000 square miles of water.
They're selling our country, they're selling our land, they're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country, ooh, they're selling our heart. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land, they're selling our archipelago of sea and sand.
Now we're going to look at the right to freedom of peaceful assembly. Freedom of peaceful assembly is the right to gather for a common purpose. This can be done publicly or privately. It includes the right to participate in assemblies, meetings, protests, strikes, sit-ins, demonstrations, and other gatherings. International law only protects assemblies when they are peaceful. However, an assembly does not lose its peaceful character due to sporadic violence or unlawful behaviors of some individuals. The peaceful intentions of the people assembling should be presumed. No assembly can be banned on the assumption that it may turn violent. This right may not be denied to any one group. It is open to everyone. Even counter-demonstrators have the right to assemble peacefully. Exercising freedom of peaceful assembly should not be subject to the permission of the authorities. States may require notice, but not authorization. Since public peaceful assemblies are held to convey a message, they must be facilitated within sight and sound of their target audience. Under international law, assemblies may be subject to certain restrictions. However, these restrictions must be provided by law and meet a strict test of necessity and proportionality. All limitations to this right have to be justifiable in the interests of national security or public safety, public order, the protection of public health or morals, or the protection of the rights and freedoms of others. Restrictions should never impair the essence of the right. Freedom must be the rule and not the exception. So, to recap, states have the obligation to protect and fulfill the right to peaceful assembly and to take measures that facilitate it, enabling people's capacity to express their opinions. Freedom of peaceful assembly is an important means through which people can exercise their freedom of expression.
How long was the flight? How long was the ride over? How long?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday. So glad to have you here. We're going to be in and out pretty fast on this one. We're going to be in and out pretty fast on this, so we want you to bear with us as we we want you to bear with us as we get this out of the way quickly. We got to update you on what's going on and what we're going to do for tomorrow, what's happening. I just want to say to everyone watching this that we have signed up for an amazing battle. We've signed up to really bring change. And change doesn't come easy. Change never comes easy. There's going to be some battles. You're going to get fought, you're going to get lied on, you're going to get falsely arrested. All of these things are going to happen. All of them are part of it. They're going to spread scandalous rumors about you. All of the persons who have brought change, have had to go through this, and we're not any different. Malcolm X had to deal with scandals. They went and put scandals out there about him and some woman he was working with, and send a fake love letter to his wife. Martin Luther King had to go through the same thing. The FBI was on him, sending fake love letters to his wife and trying to scandalize him and putting rumors out there on him. Nelson Mandela had to go through a lot. This is his book that you see stacked up here. I really, thank Nelson Mandela for the sacrifice that he made, Martin Luther King, and all of these gentlemen that made the world a little different place. And for all of you Bahamians who are ready to stand up, you can make the world a different place. And so don't be afraid of being scandalized. Don't be afraid of being lied on. That's a part of it. As you can see, it doesn't move me at all. Nothing that they say moves me. It's a part of it. It must be expected. You have to count it all joy when you're persecuted for doing what is right. Count it all joy. And so that's when you know you're on the right road. When they start barking at you, they don't throw stones at trees that don't have fruit. And so you can judge when you're on the right road by how much attacks you get from the system, from the status quo, from the people who don't want to see the change. And so I want to thank you. We're only going to be an hour today or less, and then we're going to be out of here. So I just want to update you on what's been going on and what we're going to do, what the plans are. All right. So first and foremost, I'm going to get right into it. Someone is saying amen. Yeah. Even Jesus had to go to this man. They lied on Jesus. They lied to get him to the cross. They lied on him even after he died. They paid some soldiers to say that the disciples came and beat you all up and stole his body. So if they did that to him, they pay off people to do this kind of stuff. And this is a part of it. So we're going to be lied on. We're going to be scandalized. All of this stuff has to happen. But guess what's going to happen? The new Bahamas is going to happen, whether they like it or not. And a sign that the new Bahamas is here is all that you're going to constantly be seeing. All right. So let's stay focused. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you were watching the last live, while we were watching that, we discovered that there was some other camera in this room. You saw that happening live. We took pictures, screenshots to show you what was going on. And we identified the device, where it was coming from. And we were able to isolate and remove that device. They will go to any length in order to distract this movement. I don't know why they chose to try to put that device in my bedroom, but I can tell you what my assumption is. My assumption is that, and after I've done some investigation and talked to some people, my assumption is that they want to get into my device. They can't get into my device, and so they want to hear who I'm talking to. It is shocking the government, the information that I'm able to come forward with. They want to know who my sources are. They want to know who the sources are. They want to know who I'm talking to. Are there senior police? Are there senior civil servants? Are there judges or magistrates? They want to know, how does Lincoln get this information? They are terrified of that. They are afraid of that. They have a good right to be. And so y'all can spy me all you want. This is a God move and y'all will always be exposed. But I'm not a fool to have those sensitive conversations in places that I would normally be. I won't have those conversations in my car, in my kitchen, in my home. What do you think this is? Come on, man. Y'all got to give me more credit than that. Come on. Been fighting the status quo for 20 years. And y'all think that I'm going to get slack now when we are so close to the new Bahamas? I don't think so. All right. And so let's wake up. Bahamas realize that they're trying to get into this movement. They are going to try to reach out to people who are close to the movement, who are inside the movement. They're going to try to pay off some people. There might be some people with some bills. There might be some people who hurting. They got to look over their family. And so we don't want you to get distracted if we have to cut people or if we have to move on from people. Don't get distracted. Don't think that that's going to hurt the movement. No. This is a movement whose time has come. And we're not going to allow anyone to get in the way of this movement. We want results. We want the new Bahamas, and that's it, and that's all. And so about that, we are moving towards New Bahamas, and no one is going to stop that. And so all we ask is that you come with us. Come with us. Talk to your family and your friends, and let's get to the New Bahamas together. All right. And so just again wanted to bring you up to date. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m. we are going to the Bahama Resort. Some of the delegates are going to be coming in. They're going to see us as they're coming in. But we are going to be at the Bahama Resort. We're going to let them know, and we have a letter for the leaders of CARICOM. And we are going to make sure that they know that we do not support the words of the Prime Minister of this country when he said that the Bahamians are determined to solve the crisis in Haiti. We do not support those words from him, and he was speaking on his own. And I will say to Philip Brave Davis right now, if that's your stance, go to Haiti and you go do that. Don't mix us up in what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, you go to Haiti and you go fix their problem. Stand down and let someone else deal with the problems of the Bahamas, which are many. And one of the biggest problems we have right now is you. You are taxing us to death. You are raising everything. After lying and saying you won't do it, then you do it. And somehow you think that we are so blind, that we are from the 70s and 80s generation, that we are so blind that we don't care what our politicians do, we're just going to take it. That's not our generation. You can't tell us that you're not going to increase electricity bills and then you increase it and say just take it. And you don't answer no questions, you don't justify nothing. Even though the price of fuel went down, you increased the fuel surcharge. Even though the price of fuel went down, and guess what? They do these things because we allow it. We say nothing. The price of fuel has gone down. But yet we still have a fuel surcharge that's going to constantly go up for the next few years, every quarter. And everyone is just going to sit down and allow this. Instead of sitting down and allow this, I invite you 9 a.m. in the morning to come and show your presence to let your government know that we have had enough of this nonsense. You can't raise fuel surcharge. You can't. If the fuel price has gone down. How does that work? Well, I'll move on. The man promised us that NIB would not be raised. He promised us. He gave his word. He wanted us to trust him. But guess what it did? Guess what he did? He raised the price of NIB. He hasn't said by how much yet, but that's what they are doing. And guess what? They're going to do that if you let them get away with that. If you sit back and let them raise the price of of NIB, then that's on you. That's not on them. You committed the wrong because you allowed it. You allow it, and these prices never go back down. Whenever NIB price raised, it rose forever. Now, here's the problem. Some of you just started following us, so you wouldn't have seen some of the expose that we've done on national insurance. Myself, Mary Daxon, we exposed all of the documents, and we showed where national insurance, the price is going up, not because of anything to do with there being more people, et cetera, or more costs. No, because they squandered the money. The price of NIB went up because they squandered NIB. They squandered it. They spent it as they will. They gave money to people like Leslie Miller, who, by the way, we are told is now getting a government contract for his building where Robin Hood used to be, and they're putting government offices in there. And we are told that Leslie Miller is going to be getting some $100,000 a month. Well, we don't have a Freedom of Information Act, so we need the government to confirm this. How much do these hogs want? I heard Leslie Miller talking about calling politicians hogs and dogs because they're greedy. How much do these same hogs want? NIB is going up because Leslie Miller and other members of former members of parliament and members of parliament present owe Bank of the Bahamas, and they paid it off with our NIB money. So much skullduggery is going on. And so y'all stay tuned, eh? Remember I told you that they are putting government offices in Leslie Miller's building. Remember where Robin Hood used to be? Oh, there it is. That old decrepit building right there by the bowling alley. That is where they've started renovating to put office buildings for government. I'm told immigration, I'm told road traffic is going there. Road traffic, immigration, a couple of things. And so that's where your NIB money went. That's why you have to pay more NIB. But what? We just gonna sit home and let it happen. Pay more bills. As NIB goes up, the business people have to pay more to NIB, and so they have to increase their prices. Anytime you put a bill on the business people, they're not going to pay that. They're going to put that on their product. So if you raise NIB for super value is going to put that on eggs, on bread, on rice, on tuna, on sausage. That affects the grocery price. When you increase electricity bills on super value, for example, they put it on the food. And so everything that Brave Davis is doing is affecting you. Not only do you have increased prices for you directly, but you have it because every business you patronize has to put that extra price in their cost. We have to wake up. And so this is what is happening. And so while you're sitting down and sleeping, these politicians are making more and more and more and more, and they are living your dream. And they're coming on TV and radio and fighting. And every time you had to open their mouth, because they are political prostitutes and they're doing it to make money. Stop listening to political prostitutes. Stop sharing their information. They're getting paid because you share when they say nonsense. Or you hear what this one say? Share it. They're getting paid for that. So who is the fool? That means it's you. And so now we talk about the biggest failure of the administration, and that is immigration. Someone asked, why do you want to go to CARICOM? It's for a couple of reasons. One is because of our sovereign wealth fund has been stolen. Like in any other country, they would have already taken to the streets. And also because of the immigration situation. And we gotta unpack this here. Because some people are saying that the government, at least they're doing some of the things you demanded, Lincoln. They're doing some of the things. They stopped work permits, did they? Well, they're giving out permits to reside. You notice they ain't talking about that no more, but they are just doing it because they didn't announce that to you. And so, based on the law, they've been honest with it. They're like an honest thief. And so they're giving out permits to reside, and they do it on a case-by-case basis, so they can give permit to reside to anybody now, and there's no checks and balance. The government, the corrupt government that has been failing us for over 60 years in this immigration situation, can now give out permits to reside to anybody with no check and balance. How about that? Are you all ready for that? You're all going to see the streets being flooded with people who got papers. And then they can do some little raids, some little sham raids and sham roadblocks and stops like they did in Abaco a couple of days ago. They say, oh, we're in Abaco. They want to make it look like they're doing something. There they are, in Abaco. Immigration boss, And they are in front of the clinic in Abaco on the main road, that is by the clinic in Abaco. And they're pulling over Bahamians, and asking them for ID. Why are you in front of the clinic? Don't you know where the shanty town is? Don't you know how to go on the job sites and find these people? Don't you know? Why are you going to where there's a small chance you're going to find them because they can see you. They can see you on that bus from miles away. So they said they locked up 2 buses full of people, but only a handful of people were at the holding station. A couple of weeks ago, remember, they said they locked up over 100 people, but only 2 they held, and then they didn't even keep them. It's a flam. It's to calm you down. It's to pacify you so that you don't protest, because once you protest, they have to do something. Have you noticed that every protest we did, even when they pushed back, they had to do something? That's how democracy works. So we have to keep standing. I'm asking you today to stand with me. I'm going to stand in front of you, and I'm going to take all the blows. I'm going to take all of the personal attacks. I'm going to take all of the bullets. I'm going to be the one whose life is under scrutiny. I'm going to take the blows. I just ask you to stand with me. I will stand in front of you. Stand with me tomorrow at Bahama, 9 a.m. We want you to meet us at the roundabout that leads to the Hyatt. That's the same roundabout that would lead to Gladstone Road. Meet us at that roundabout. You can find anywhere to park around there. You have Commonwealth Bank, Scotia, all them other places around there on the other side. You can also park at Goodman's Bay, and we'll have a shuttle that will be busing you back and forth. I think that shuttle is going to start at what, 8:45? That shuttle starts at 8:45. Be out there on time now. We're going to spend some time out there. At 8:45, the shuttle starts, and we're going to be moving you back and forward. So you can walk. It's a short walk, but if you don't want to walk, the shuttle will take you back and forward. We've already hired that shuttle, and so make sure you're there. There's also the option for persons to park if they want to at Fusion, which is a little further. I guess they're busing them from Fusion. Right, so they're talking about that, but Fusion is charging $5 a person. So that's an option if everything gets filled up, if Goodman's Bay gets filled up, if everywhere else nearby is full. That's a last resort. All right, and so look at Goodman's Bay, look at other areas that's nearby, and from Goodman's Bay we'll have the shuttle going. All right, so we are going out there. We're going to have an orderly day. We're going to go out there and we're going to Martin Luther King them. We're going to show them that we have had enough. We're going to stand up. We're going to read. We're going to make a declaration to CARICOM, and we're going to deliver that to CARICOM. We're going to have that delivered to CARICOM, to the leaders, to the Secretary General, and then basically that is going to be stating that whatever you see them talking about, we don't agree to their agreements on immigration, but we have our own country to save. We're talking about our human rights that have been violated, the immigration situation that is a crime, that our government would cooperate in this immigration situation, that documents, etc., are being sold right from under our noses, and it's like they can't do anything, that our government has stopped interdicting or arresting these boats out to sea, and other governments have to do that in our waters. It's shameful. We're gonna talk about the fact that these people invade and take over our crown land, while Bahamians were discriminated against when it comes to crown land, while they were entertaining the foreigners, so the illegal immigrants. We're going to talk about the crime, the effect of crime as it relates to all of this, how it increases crime, how they're empowering the criminal underworld by allowing them to be able to ship their drugs and do everything else through our country. We're now empowering a new form of criminal. We're going to talk about all of this. Our land being invaded and our government sitting down and watching. We got to stand up for this country because this is the only one we got. We ain't got no other country. If we let them take this one over, it over. I hope you understand that. If we let them take this one over, it over. That's it. All right. So we have to be very vigilant. And I see them was sharing this video about me talking about vigilante. That's what vigilant means. That's what vigilante is, from the word to be vigilant. When you see what's going on, you have to see it, speak up, say what's going on, and take action. All right. So who don't like that, then that's too bad. But we have to take action. All right. So a couple of days ago, we saw police out there, staking out inspection. They're out there in full force. This is yesterday or the day before. Yes, they were out there looking to see, what they could do in the area, make sure they could secure the area. So that's awesome. So it's going to be nice and safe. So we appreciate that. So there they are. So it's going to be nice and safe. So we appreciate that. Thank you all for that. But we have to protect our nation. We have to protect our land. It's the only one we got. All right. So we got to stand up. The fight is not going to be easy, Bahamas. It's not going to be easy. But the question is, will you stand? What made Pinlin, Milo Butler, Randall Folks, Clifford Darling, all these fellas win was not them. It was the people deciding to stand with them. You have to decide what kind of Bahamas you want. I know what kind of Bahamas I want. Well, I have just a few minutes left because this Valentine's. It's a very interesting book I was reading. This book was banned in the Bahamas. You can't find this in any bookstore. This is a book called The Cocaine Wars. It talks about the illegal drug history of the Bahamas in the late 70s and the 80s. It's talking about when the Bahamas went rogue and when our politicians went black and started going after the dark money. We're headed back to this. We're there now again, but with illegal immigration and cocaine and gun smuggling. There will be no country for your children in short order. This book was banned in the Bahamas. It's called The Cocaine Wars. They talk about everything. Undercover officers at the time were dealing with this. Is written by Paul Eddy and Hugo Sabal and Sarah Walden. All right. It's called The Cocaine Wars. This is a powerful book. As you can see, that's Pinlin pictured and others pictured in there. That's Carmen Bannister pictured in there. Our country is going right back down this rabbit hole. And boy, as we go on in lives coming up, I'm going to read some of the things in here where they talk about Pinlin. Norman Solomon is in here talking about what he found at Norman Key. There's a lot of serious information in here. But this book was banned in the Bahamas. And so I had to get this from another country. It's still out there, still published. Still out there and published, but I had to get this from another country. All right? But it is published in New York and London by Norton and Company. You're going to search for it or look on Amazon. I didn't check on Amazon to see if this is there. Norton and Company. It's published in New York and London. I love New York. I get so much stuff from New York. All right. And so you got to get these books. Bahamians, y'all got to read. You got to educate yourself. I told you some highlights about this book right here. I'm going to spend the weekend reading. All right. This is the book I told you about. Labor, Unite or Perish. We were talking about that. This is another book written by The Revelations of a Living Legend. This is the memoirs of Dr. Arrington Bumpy Watkins. You would know him as Arrington Washington Isaac Watkins. So some serious information about the history of the Bahamas. I'm studying the history of the Bahamas, and we have to study our history so we know where we came from, so we know where we're going. This is Arrington Bumpy Watkins. He gave me one of the original copies of this. And there's some powerful information in here. They accused him of wanting to blow up Pinlin and them, and trying to secede Abaco from the Bahamas. All right. This is a book by Franklin Ferguson. I'm studying the Bahamas. I'm knowing this. This is my life. The Bahamas is my life. Franklin Ferguson. This is a book where he talks about a lot of stuff, a lot of history. They say Bahamians don't write. No, the Bahamians don't write. Bahamians have been writing. Bahamians don't read. So this Franklin Ferguson, he's a well-known photographer in this country. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. You got to study that. This is The Legacy of Life at Key. This is another book. I'm giving you hints on reading. I'm trying to point you in the right direction, how you need to behave and how you need to start thinking. We want our fellow brothers and sisters, our new Bahamians, to be intellectual. Know your history. This is Life at Key, The Legacy, History of Life at Key from 1788. Arthur Haley wrote this. History of Life at Key. All right, The Legacy of Life at Key. All right. There's some nice stuff in there. As we go on, I'm going to take pieces of my life and start educating the Bahamian people. This is The Fate That Moved Mountains. This is the book that goes with this book. And so this is the book that I was reading from last live, but this is the book, the actual original book. So there's a lot more deep information in here. A lot of history is in here. You gotta get this. You gotta read this. I love Randall Fox. I think we're going to move that Queen statue and we're going to replace it with Randall Fox. I believe if he had become prime minister, we would have had a better country because we know that he wouldn't sell out. This is a book by Clifford Darling. Study Bahamas. Read. Clifford Darling is actually family. I'm related to them. This is a book about him. This book here, sitting on my desk, is Mein Kampf. This is by Hitler. And why am I reading this? I don't believe in Hitler. I don't believe in the things that he believes in. I don't believe in those stuff. But you need to study to know how evil men think. Because I'm experiencing the same things that Hitler did in this government. The same kind of oppressive behavior. The same kind of silencing the media. Buying out the media. Silencing your opposition. Using the police to attack persons, using the courts to jail persons for your benefit. That's what I'm experiencing right now. And so it's the mind of evil dictators, and that's what's really happening in the Bahamas right now. It's another very powerful book. The last one I'll show you all. I want you all to start studying. This is Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I was the first person to bring this to this country. I gave it to some of our members of parliament years ago. This is a deep one. I won't go into details. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, we are at a crossroad, and you have to determine whether we are going to move to the New Bahamas and go 50 years forward, or we're going to continue with this FNMPLP nonsense and go 50 years backwards. The choice is yours. I saw them talk about recently about this thing of what was it? These barbers that they say were beat up by alleged immigration officers. So some men walking there with some uniform on and they was covering their whole faces. You couldn't see who they were. And there was an altercation, and so they're assuming that those immigration officers. I don't know if they're immigration officers or not. It could be a scam, so we have to be awake. It could be a scam to have pity towards the illegal immigrants. They do these kinds of things, right, throughout history. I don't know that it is, but it could be. So until we know the facts, let's just reserve our opinions on it. But I know one thing. The cosmetic and beauty industry, which includes barbers and hairdressers, is reserved for Bahamians. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? It is reserved for Bahamians. Bahamians and Bahamians only. That's what it's reserved for. I'll pull this up for you so you can see it. I want you to see this. I got 9 minutes. See, areas reserved for Bahamians. This is the government's website. Areas reserved for Bahamians. All right. The following business areas or sectors have been reserved for Bahamian nationals only. Only Bahamians can get in these sectors. All right. And so wholesale and retail operations, commission agencies engaged in import-export trade. It's for Bahamians only. Real estate and domestic property management agencies, Bahamians only. Domestic newspapers and magazine publications, Bahamians only. Domestic advertising and public relation firms, Bahamians only. Security services, Bahamians only. How much foreigners you see doing security? How much of these security you see could barely speak our language? Huh? In the new Bahamas, we could fix this. Security services, Bahamians only. Domestic distribution of building supplies. Construction companies, except for special structures for which international expertise is required. Construction is supposed to be reserved for Bahamians, except where you need specialty assistance. Ah, boy. Personal cosmetic beauty establishments. Personal cosmetics / beauty establishment. That includes barbers, hair, hairdressers, etc. That's reserved for Bahamians. So tell me how those fellas got work permits for that. Commercial fishing within the exclusive economic zone of the Bahamas. So commercial fishing, Bahamians only. Auto and appliance service operators, public transportation inclusive of locally solicited charter boat tours, and last one, I don't know why they put it to the bottom, but landscaping. So Haitian daddy is not supposed to be doing your yard. That is reserved for Bahamians. That is reserved for Bahamians. But of course, when people with money decide they want to do something, you have politicians who are always ready and willing to sell out. Tomorrow, we take a stand, and there's going to be further instructions when you get there. So be prepared for further instructions, all right? We don't want to say over the airwaves, all right? Again, it's going to be Martin Luther King, not Malcolm X tomorrow. We're going there to take a stand. We're going there to represent our people, to let the government know and let the world know that we don't agree with our sons and daughters going to Haiti. We don't agree with solving their problems before we have solved ours. We have lots of problems. We have a major crime problem here. When I say major, I mean major. And it doesn't even seem like they are interested in dealing with the Haiti situation. I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to go to their website, and I'm going to show you something very interesting. You heard them keep talking about how they're going to deal with this Haitian situation. I mean, I was going through this website, and they was talking about their agenda. Let's look at the agenda for CARICOM this year. All right, we're almost finished. I got a few more minutes. Let's look at the agenda. So we're going to look at the agenda for CARICOM. Watch this. This is the agenda seeing here. So this is the agenda for CARICOM. So this is the CARICOM website, CARICOM 44, which is now. So the agenda for the 44th CARICOM will cover several areas, including CARICOM single market economy, climate change, including climate finance, agriculture and food security, security and health will again be the focus. Want me to read that again for you? Let me enlarge that for you so you can see it. This is what they're covering. The CARICOM single market economy, climate change, including finance, agriculture and food security, health will be the focus. That's what they're going to focus on. Now, I hear Fred Mitchell saying they're going to focus on Haiti and to resolve the thing in Haiti, but I just don't see it in the agenda. All right, that's not what they said. All right, So they have the issues that they said: foreign and community relations, security again, climate change, and they focus on, and you can learn more, energy, agriculture and food security, the CARICOM single market economy, all right, and then the cross-cutting industries issues are civil society, CARICOM private sector organization, and youth. That's it. Closing press conference. I ain't saying no one will bring up the Haiti and Haiti situation. That's not on the agenda. It's their agenda. But our government keeps saying to us in our news that to make it seem, as Fred Mitchell just said it the other day, they're going to be focused on this Haiti situation. Someone get with that? Just the agenda. If that's what the focus was going to be, if that was of any importance, wouldn't that be on the agenda? Not just something that you would have to bring up. Listen, your government is deceiving you at every turn. And if you don't wake up, that's on you. That's on you. That's the agenda. All right. So I got a couple minutes. Let me see if we could open the phone lines for you for a couple seconds, because then I go into I can't open the phone lines on here. Oh yes, I can. Just give me a sec. Oh, we're good to go. Let me just get this on. Someone says, tell me about the chicken on what? The chicken on Town Center Mall, by Town Center Mall. The chicken by Town Center Mall. It's a statue. All right, that's what it is. You're getting into all that other stuff, all right? Witchcraft people use chickens for a lot of what they do, for sacrifice and that kind of stuff, but I don't think that was the purpose of them putting that there, all right? Someone says, I ain't my grandparent. Are you ready to round up them and box them up? All right. The phone line today is, and I'm not going to be on here long, so you better get in here fast. The phone line is same 804-4264, 804-4264. If you have any questions about tomorrow, what's going to happen, again, we're going to give you further information when you get there in the morning. Let's get there. Tomorrow is going to be amazing. We're going to represent the Bahamas. We're going to take a stand. We also are taking a stand. It's going to be in the document for our sovereign wealth fund, our carbon credits that was stolen from us. 804-4264 is the number. Our carbon credits were stolen from us, and we're taking it back. All right, we have to take it back. We can't let that go. I want you all to pay close attention to Anthony Ferguson and his company. All right, who's now traveling with Brave Davis and sucking up to him, and they are arranging to have these carbon credits now under their control. I want you to focus. The big scandal right now, they letting us talk immigration, They letting us focus on immigration, but notice they're not even answering when it comes to our carbon credits and our sovereign wealth fund. They don't want to touch that because that's where the big robbery is. How much you got to stand up? That's your money and your children's money that they're going to take and go into retirement. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hi, Lincoln. Good evening. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm good. I heard Janae had made mention about CARICOM meeting being in Atlantis on the news last night, and I don't know whether she had made a mistake. Are you absolutely sure it's still at Bahama?
Yes, the opening, they're having a special opening that evening at that's going to take place at Atlantis. That's just the opening ceremony. They're going to be honoring some women. So only that opening ceremony is gonna take place there. All of everything else is gonna take place at Bahama. All of them are staying at Bahama. So for that ceremony in the evening, they're gonna have to bus their people from Bahama, all of the delegates, to Atlantis. We already have the schedule. We already have everything. So just be there 9 o'clock.
Well, unfortunately, I'm in Freeport and I'm unable to attend.
No problem. But I think that was a good question to clear up because a lot of people got confused with that.
Thank you. A lot of people wondering if it's still at Bahama.
Yes, it will be at Bahama. Only that event, that one thing is going to take place at Atlantis, and everything else is going to take place at Bahama. So make sure you are there at 9 a.m. Well, I know not you, but Bahamas, make sure you are there at 9 a.m. Tomorrow we're going to be there, and we're going to have further instructions when we get there. All right?
Yeah, thanks so much. You're doing a great job.
Thank you too. All right. So thank you for that good question. That's something I should have covered earlier, but that's why I need you all to make sure I have. Don't forget anything. All right. What about Andres mining? Well, we have to take over this. We have to take over this country, and Andres, there should be no mining in Andres. We have to take over this country so that whatever happens in this country that we can benefit from, but we can't let people destroy Andres. They destroyed everything in Grand Bahama. They destroyed the waterlands. They destroyed Grand Bahama. They dig it up. The underwater caves are messed up. They collapse because of all the digging. And that's why you now have flooding in Grand Bahama in areas where you never had flooding before. And so we can't let them do that to Andres. We have to stand up and fight. Some say I'm confused. How does the Chinese operate so much establishments? Corruption. It's simple as that. Corruption. But hey, you have to decide if you want to fix it. My daughter applied for national insurance from November 11 and still ain't get no answer yet. Tell her, go to Leslie Miller, Obi Wilchcombe, what are the people's name? You all know the list of people. Tell her, go to them people for our NIB money. Our NIB money was used to build buildings, to benefit political cronies. It was used to open companies for other people to benefit. For example, when Caleb Obama came here, they didn't have the money. They used our NIB money to do that. Our NIB money went into that. There's so much things that our money went into. They bought rundown mansions, abandoned mansions with our NIB money. All right, to benefit former prime ministers, former politicians. All right, this is the kind of corruption that they do. Why are you going to spend all that money to renovate Leslie Miller's place and pay him all that money every month when we could just build our own building that we the people own? Why? Why do we continue to do this kind of stuff? And why do Bahamians continue to put up with this? Why? Why? I've had enough. Well, it's time for you to go enjoy your night. Thank all of you for tuning in. I know we had to do a short one now, but of course we're gonna carry on tomorrow. There's so much stuff for us to talk about, to continue to educate you and your people about. If you're not in one of our WhatsApp group, please call or WhatsApp the same number on the screen, 804-4264. Call or WhatsApp that number. So that you can get in one of our WhatsApp groups so you know what's going on. Because there's certain things that we want to say that we don't want to say publicly, but of course we get to our people now by going live, and that's how we get our public message out. But if you're in our WhatsApp groups, we can do it, and it's much more private, even though it's not perfectly private. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the war has begun. The battle to save our nation. We are putting together our candidates. Our candidates committee has already been formed. We're hitting the streets again. I'm going to send a message out there for you to let you know what time to meet me on Bacardi Park on Saturday. We're going to demolish those buildings. On the lady who owns the property is going to demolish those buildings. So we need support. What do we need people for? We think it's going to be peaceful. But they know that they're on our property, and so they've never resisted in that way. They have always admitted that it's our property. They know that. They've seen the documentation. They've seen it in English and in Creole. But we're going to need people because we have to search each building before we demolish it, so we don't get set up. So we have to search each building. We don't want them to knock someone over the head and put them in the building and set us up, right? So we're going to have to search each building before we demolish it. And so we've already hired the bulldozers, and this is happening. All right, we're not playing with them. You can't come in our country, and I want to see if the government didn't stand up for her when they broke her house down, and she reported it to them. She spoke to all of them. She spoke to police. She spoke to every ministry. She spoke to Philip Brave Davis personally. We can see that they defend this Bahamian woman. Or they stand. Oh, but Brave Davis did say he's always going to be there for them. Well, we'll see. But we are going to be there for our Bahamian people. That's what we are all about, and that's what we will do. All right? And so it is now, what is this? 4 days since the order has been given, allowed, so that the demolitions can happen freely in Abaco. It could always happen freely in all other family islands. And Brave Davis has still done nothing. Not one home demolished. They flamming, y'all. They're trying to organize to get some of them to move and put them in an apartment somewhere, some housing somewhere, so they could go do a sham demolition to say they broke down some buildings. All right, so don't fall for their tricks. We'll be all over it. We have our people on the ground who'll be all over it. So make sure that you are wise and don't fall for their tricks. Anything you hear them say is a lie. It's a trick. It's deceit. So that they can continue to make their money while you suffer. So that's going to be Saturday. Most likely it's going to be at 11 a.m. But I'm going to confirm that. Just watch my Facebook page. I'm going to confirm it. Saturday, I think it's going to be 11 a.m. We're going to go out there and we are going to get to work. And so we're going to need people to count buildings, make sure buildings are searched, etc., to make sure no humans are in there. And we're going to do what we have to do. So we need your help. Men, we need your help. Calling all men. All right, women, you come too. All right, calling all men and women. And so I think what we are going to do, I think we're going to hire some buses also. And so for those persons who are there who may not have anywhere to go, they may say they don't have anywhere to go, although they could go to any one of those other Asian villages. But if someone is there and they don't know where to go, we're going to bus them to Philip Brave Davis' house. He got a little over 2 acres, right, in West Ridge that used to be ground land. We're going to bus them there. So we're going to pile them up in the bus. We'll provide the bus free of charge. We can provide that. We're going to pile them up in the buses if they have nowhere to go. And we're going to take them to West Ridge and drop them off at Philip Brave Davis' house. Since he want to defend them. Since they don't know how to get rid of illegal immigrants who are taking our land. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for change. See you all tomorrow. God bless all of you. Let's stand up, take a day off, take some time off. Don't go to work. Let's stand up. I know it's a work day. I know it's a weekday. Let's stand up and do what we have to do. All right? We have a right to be there. We have a right to protest. And bring out your placards. Write your placards. Make them clear. The international community can see what is going on. All right? And so make sure you're out there. And it is our democratic right to be there and to take a stand and let the world know that we can't handle this overload, man. And if this keeps happening and the government keeps making mistakes and the Minister of Immigration keep throwing his hand up in the air, we finish.
It is impossible, Madam Speaker, for us, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and our law enforcement agencies, to police our waters. 100,000 square miles of water.
That's what they say. But is that true? Enough is enough, y'all. Happy and good Valentine's for all of you who celebrate Valentine's. But for the rest of us, enjoy the rest of your day. Read, study, learn about your Bahamas. Get ready for the new Bahamas. Get your vision together. We're going to empower real Bahamians with real vision. It's time for a change. It's time, y'all. Be there. 9 a.m. Looking forward to meeting all of you. See you next time.
is impossible, Madam Speaker, for us, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and our law enforcement agencies, to police our waters. 100,000 square miles of water.
They're selling our country, they're selling our land, they're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country, ooh, they're selling our heart. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our heart.
Let me just say that I have always been a part of this community, and there's no accident I know how to do all the dancing, because I always be and share with you, because you are me and I am you, and I'll be here with you always. And those who knew me from the past and know me now, they always knew that I was there and always been there for you. I don't call you all, no, you all are not Haitians, Bahamians. You are Bahamian, and your origin is Haitian. Mine too, and many of us. We have to stay apart for now so we can be together later. Hey, long now.
Are you all ready and willing to go? You know, a lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country at the top. You don't need anything. We want water, we don't have agriculture, we don't have mining.
That's quite interesting.
This may be the best citizenship in the world, and they all have it. Because of this card, they get free land, free education, free weddings, free hospitals, and even a free funeral. It's the citizenship of a country in the Middle East called the United Arab Emirates. This is what life is like for citizens from the Emirate of Dubai. And because the city is so generous, they get the craziest benefits I have ever seen. Are you ready for this? When you are born, your parents pay nothing. Your delivery and checkups for the next 9 months are all free. Then you grow up and you go to school. Local school in Dubai is free! And so are universities, because Dubai will pay for you to get a degree.
studied at Zayed University and New York University, both for free.
Who's gonna pay for that?
The government.
Then you get married. If you can't afford the wedding, you get $20,000 to throw a wedding. And after marriage, every local Dubai family gets this: free land. Did you get free land?
Yes.
Did you get free land?
Yes.
Did you get free land?
Sure, yes.
And if you cannot afford the home, then you get a grant to build it for free.
I also can't afford building a house. I can get a 0-interest loan on housing.
Zero?
Zero.
If you need to go to the hospitals are free. And if you need surgery that's not available here, they will fly you to another country to get treatment for free. When you become a senior citizen, you get discounts, many discounts. And if you live alone and can't afford it, Dubai will even send a caretaker to look after you for free. And when you die, well, in Dubai, that's also free. Your funeral will be taken care of, and Dubai will build a full tent with air conditioning within 5 hours of your death next to your home, so your friends can come and say goodbye to you. The point of government is to take care of people, and in Dubai, they take it to the extreme. Imagine if
carbon credits. Over the holidays, when all of you guys were out there partying and enjoying Junkanoo, the government passed the National Development Fund Act.
Stop right there. Last week I told you all that anytime you want to see something important happens, and I gave reference to the fact that they pass all the crime bills and all the things like rape cases and stuff like that, and all of the sex acts and stuff that people want to enjoy, they would pass those things at the end of the year. You remember me talking to you for that? They pass those things at the end of the year when no one is looking, no one peeping, no one checking nothing. They partying. So you hear what he said just now? They passed this thing, a second act, while you all were partying. You had no time to waste. Carry on, sir.
But what is even more significant, not that they passed the Act for the National Development Fund, that act also repealed the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act. So they repealed the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act and instituted this national development that the Prime Minister himself and the Minister of Finance, who happen to be the same person, has complete autonomy in terms of decision making.
And that's something.
Now, these acts separately by themselves doesn't constitute the big picture. But when you take a look at these acts in tandem, the big picture emerge. And so you ask the question, what's going on? If the Bahamas had decided to go to the mandatory side of the market, the UN had certain protocols in place. One of those protocols is that the government of the Bahamas would have to set up a sovereign wealth fund, and more than 60% of the proceeds from the carbon credits would have to go into that sovereign wealth fund and be dispersed to the citizens of the country.
See, now that's the big catch. Do you understand? You understand that that big catch means then that because they have done away with the Sovereign Wealth Fund, there is no 60% to put into the Sovereign Wealth Fund. You follow? And so the Sovereign Wealth Fund is no longer. Carry on.
And there are a couple of things that happened prior to that. That has to do with FTX. But we're going to get to that a little bit later on in the show because I don't want to get that really conflated with what's going on here. I ran some numbers, and I'm going to throw some conservative numbers at you, very conservative numbers. The first tranche of carbon credits, the initial tranche based on Mr. Ferguson, who has been appointed to the management company, who's in charge of the management company. The initial tranche, according to him, would be $9 million. 9 million units of carbon credits, which is about just under $800 million if you go to the mandatory side of the market. Now, the total valuation for the mangrove swamps in the Bahamas is close to 100 million units of carbon credits. So you're talking about just over $8 billion annually. And so 60% of that going into a sovereign wealth fund means that every single citizen of the country over the age of 18 would receive a sovereign wealth payment monthly of between $3,000 and $3,500 monthly. And on an annual level, it would be between $36,000 and $42,000.